Hello YouTube. Welcome to my first tutorial. I'm starting a new series regarding game development and I plan to make a couple of short videos about the struggles I encountered over the last week while learning Python and Pygame. Let's begin. Firstly, make sure you have installed Python and also the Pygame library. Also, I recommend working with some programs that make your coding life easier. For example, I chose PyCharm, which from what I understand is specially designed for Python. Let's jump right into creating our first game. When creating a new Python script in PyCharm, you should be greeted by this text. Let's clear our screen and import the Pygame library. First thing to know is that our game runs using an infinite loop that stops only when the player chooses to close the application. Secondly, Pygame must handle all the player's inputs, for example mouse clicks or key presses. Basically, the operating system expects Pygame to handle events during your program. If Windows notices that events are unhandled, it will alert the user. The program doesn't actually crash or freeze, but the operating system is just saying that your program has become unresponsive, which is because you are not responding to any user events. So each frame you must in some way or another respond to the player's inputs. And lastly, you should set the amount of frames per second you want for your game. Let's say our main loop does n operations. Depending on the computer, those n operations can be done very fast or more slowly. Thus, for some player, the main loop will run more times per second or fewer times per second, which isn't good at all. Okay, let's implement these three basic steps while also learning how to bleed images and move them on screen. So let's create our main loop and handle the event queue. We will be doing this by iterating over it like so. The event variable represents the current event. We also make sure that if the player wants to quit the game, we stop it. Otherwise, our program will become unresponsive. We can do this by checking if our event is equal to pygame.quit, which means pressing the red X. If the player wants to quit the game, we call the function sys.exit, which stops our game. Now let's set the amount of frames per second by using clock.tick. For example, let's set the FPS to 60. Now let's run the program and see what we have so far. As I expected, we encountered our first error, and this is because we do not have anything to work with in terms of video. We do not have a game screen. So let's add this step on our to-do list and implement it. To add a game screen, we need to create a new variable. Let's call it simply screen, and it will be equal to pygame.display.setMode, and then we will specify the size of our screen in pixels, width and height. Let's say 500 by 500. Now to update our display, we simply type at the end of the loop pygame.display.update. And now if we run the program, we can see a black 500 by 500 screen that we can move around. Okay guys, for this video I would also like to show you how to make images appear on screen. So I'll use my YouTube avatar for the job. Firstly, you want to import the image from its location. Mine is on the C disk. And create an object which will clip the image by typing pygame.image.load and specifying the location of the image. Afterwards, we must draw the image every frame on our 500 by 500 screen by calling the bleed method at the end of the loop, which requires two attributes, the image object, which is my avatar, and the location on screen. Now guys, as you can see, we have my beautiful avatar on our screen. Unfortunately, this was it for today. Hopefully it was useful for you. As you know, I'm just starting my journey to game development, and I will upload another tutorial very soon, which will cover hopefully image movement and following the mouse. Until then, see you guys next time.